Some episodes may contain graphic content or sensitive topics, while all episodes will consistently feature offensive language and absurd speculations from two opinionated women on a spiritual journey just trying to figure shit out. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Heather.
And you are listening to Hexhaven. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. We have a pretty interesting concept episode that I've kind of put together.
Okay.
Heather does not know the topic yet.
I do not.
So we are going to be talking about something that is widely debated. It is the idea of the ether.
The ether?
The ether.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay. So, ether is something that has been discussed since pretty much the beginning of time. It was thought to be disproven by scientific development.
Okay.
But that is now in the 21st century also debated. It's kind of like an energy force that's just like stagnant in the environment.
Isn't it a chemical?
There is a chemical called ether. You're
okay,
right.
Yeah.
Because I like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. They like have it on a handkerchief and they're like sniffing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I guess there is a chemical too. This ether is spelled Aether.
Okay.
But I have seen it also spelled with just the E at the beginning. So ether is interesting.
Are you going to talk about this? But how did you find out about this?
I am going to talk about this. I actually have 2 clips from different episodes of the Y-Files that I'm going to share with you today, and I'll include the episodes in the show notes and everything for the listeners.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was an episode of the Y-Files, surprise, surprise, that kind of sent me down this rabbit hole.
What is the Y-Files?
The Y-Files, it's like a podcast, YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Host name is AJ, and he has a little sidekick that is like a CGI goldfish in a bowl.
Okay.
And his name is Hecklefish.
Okay.
So it's a really good show for any, the curious mind. I highly, highly recommend it.
So, conspiracy theories?
So, for me, I started watching them for their alien and UFO content.
Okay.
So that's what got me interested. They do a lot of, government cover-ups, psyops, a lot of scientific stuff. So they also, recently have been talking a lot about, is reality a simulation? So it really is a mixed bag of a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So we'll go through a couple clips, but yeah, to the listeners, highly recommended the Y-Files.
Okay.
And Hecklefish is hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah, I wanted to do this topic because it's something that kind of bridges science with myth. It began as a mystical element in cosmology, and it kind of evolved into many scientific theories. It's also shaped a lot of major scientific revolutions. You'll see later on, but there was an experiment called the Morley experiment that failed to detect ether. And because of that experiment, ether was debunked for quote unquote, But it actually sparked Einstein's theory of relativity, which would go on to define space and time.
Okay. Holy shit.
Oh, it gets crazy. I had a lot of fun with this one. I spent a lot of time the last couple of months researching for it. It is also considered to be a symbol of the unseen. It kind of represents invisible fabric that might underlie reality, whether in physics, magic, or consciousness. And it just seems to keep returning in new forms in my research. So when it was 3 or 4 times I had heard about it, and I was like, okay, what is this? It's time for me to actually look into it. To start, we'll kind of just go over the definition of the concept.
Okay.
So ether is a hypothetical substance or medium that was once believed to fill all space and act as a carrier for light, gravity, and other forces. Its meaning has shifted across eras. For example, in ancient philosophy, especially Greek, ether was the fifth element, a divine, incorruptible substance made up of the heavens. In classic physics, it became luminiferous ether. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
Which is a medium thought necessary for light waves to travel through space. And then in modern metaphysics and speculative science, ether is sometimes reimagined as a subtle energy field, akin to like the quantum vacuum or dark energy.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Man, the whole like quantum physics portion of this is why it took me so long to research.
I consider myself to be a smart person.
Same.
But I feel like, wow, this might be
there were parts
over my
of
head.
the quantum physics part where I was like, I am a bumbling fucking idiot.
Right.
So I did watch a lot of different videos. I do have there's one experiment that we'll talk about that I had a really hard time envisioning in my mind. So I found a picture that we'll look at to kind of help us make sense of it.
Okay.
And then I took some high scientific level data and threw it into Copilot and was like, please dumb this down for me because it's just too much,
Damn, because it's a theory.
Yeah. It's a theory. It's the same kind of thing as gravity, spacetime, which are all really cool concepts, but most of science is theory.
But gravity is a real...
Gravity is a real thing, but we gave it a name and, made it gravity. It was always there, yeah. But scientific research is what uncovered it, named it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive into a little bit about how it has been understood across time.
Okay.
Ether is pretty much the base ingredient in energy work at its most primal. It's the idea that we can draw upon the subtle forces in the atmosphere, the elements, and it's thought to be like the breath between worlds. Across time, it's been framed as elemental essence, scientific medium, and metaphysical current. But because it resists easy measurement and doesn't play by the rules of conventional understanding, it has often been dismissed or even suppressed. Still, what was once labeled myth may be circling back into view through modern practices. So why does it matter? Ether is more than an ancient theory. It's a symbol of the liminal, the space between worlds, and the breath of the cosmos itself. It's thought to be the reason we can see behind the veil.
Holy shit.
It represents spirit, will, and the divine thread that weaves through all things. Over time, as power structures shifted and dominated worldviews tightened their grip, the idea of ether was quietly set aside. But as we often find, when something is buried, it's usually because it held power. To start, we'll go through the origins of the idea. So it started, the first time we really see chatter of it is in ancient Greek cosmology.
Really?
Uh-huh. So the word ether originated from the Greek language, and it meant upper air, pure, fresh air, or clear sky. It, at that time, was believed to be the essence that the gods breathed, something that was distinctly different from the element of air. As opposed to air, ether was thought of as a more subtle, refined substance that filled the cosmos beyond Earth's atmosphere. The substance at that time was associated with divinity and immortality. Aristotle, in his work On the Heavens, which I think is a book, he introduced it as the fifth element, and this was in 4th century BCE.
So air, water, fire...
Earth.
Wait. No,
air,
not Earth,
water,
Wind, and Fire. That's a band.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Air, water, fire, and earth. I actually have
And
it.
wind, is it?
No, wind is air.
Oh, okay.
It is earth.
Okay.
Fire, air, water, and earth.
And then he's saying then ether would have
Was
been
the
the
fifth.
fifth.
So-
That's interesting.
It was also often called spirit, the fifth element.
Which, that to me makes sense. If you're calling it spirit.
Yep. Yep.
Holy shit.
So Aristotle, he considered ether to be unmarred, an element that was always unmarred by corruption. It's not something like that we as humans could affect, you know. It was thought of as eternal, unchanging, and divine. It was the matter that carried the stars and the planets in their circular motion. So then, this is also 4th century BCE. We hear about ether from Plato. He wrote the Timaeus, which is a cosmological and metaphysical matters book. He wrote it in 360 BCE. This is a dialogue that explains the creation of the physical universe by a divine craftsman called the Demiurge, I think it is.
What?
Who imposed order on pre-existing chaos. So that would be God? The idea
That's what I'm
of
thinking.
God?
That's what it's suggesting, right?
Yeah, I've never heard of the Demiurge,
No.
but I'm also not really familiar with Plato's work.
No.
So
no.
this was the first time I've actually ever read anything by Plato or Aristotle.
Right.
But in this text, the Timaeus, Plato references a fifth essence that is the medium bridging different realms, divine and physical, together.
Okay.
He describes ether as a receptacle of space that carries all things.
So the spirit world.
Mm-hmm. We also see parallels of ether in many different cultures around the world. This is where I wanted to talk about the fifth element.
Okay.
Because I never really realized that there was a fifth element.
I didn't know that.
I've seen the movie Fifth Element, but...
Yeah, but that's a fictional fantasy movie.
Yes,
and that movie doesn't really mean it's talking about this fifth element.
Absolutely.
I don't remember that.
The Fifth Element?
No.
I really don't remember it either. I don't think I've seen it since I was a teenager. And when it comes to ether, I have seen a lot of it in fantasy writing and sci-fi movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about the pentagram.
Oh.
Because the pentagram, the 5-pointed star of the pentagram, is the holy cross of the 5 elements. The 4 physical elements of fire, air, water, and earth, plus the 5th element, which is known as spirit, quintessence, ether, or akasha.
Okay.
So I guess I never really realized that the pentagram was connected to the elements in that, that's why there's 5 points.
I read something a long time ago, but I thought the 5th element was yourself.
Spirit.
Yeah, it makes sense now, spirit.
Yep.
But I thought of it as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not
what makes you, I guess. I mean,
right.
It's to me, soul.
When you think spirit? Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
yes,
I
and
guess
I think
it kind
I
of fits.
saw it as a person in body.
Yeah.
Not
the physical body.
Yes, the physical person.
Right.
Versus the soul or the spirit of the person.
Right.
So it's interesting now that it would make sense that 5th element is spirit.
Yeah, so I'm going to read you this little blurb here.
Okay.
This is from the book The Secrets of High Magic. It was written by Francis Melville. It's a practical instruction in occult traditions, including high magic, tree of life, astrology, tarot, rituals, alchemical processes, and further advanced techniques. So on the pentagram, it says the quintessence, which is the ether, is the unifying source of all elemental energy, the matrix that allows energy to emerge through the 4 material elements. The pentagram is therefore a symbol of the quintessence and also a geometric symbol of man as a microcosm, the image of God imbued with spirit, the perfect man as lord of the elements, who governs the elements by the authority of his will. So that is on page 63 of this high magic book.
Okay.
So I just thought that was interesting.
It is. Mm-hmm.
So, and then Akasha, I had never heard of that, but it is in Indian traditions, it is considered the primordial space, the first element from which all other things emerge. Akasha is the subtle substance that holds sound, memory, and the blueprint of existence. In Vedic philosophy, which is also from Indian tradition, it's the canvas upon which the universe is painted, and it's intimately tied to prana, which is the vital life force that flows through breath, body, and being. Then it's also relatable to qi in Chinese cosmology, which is considered a life force, the invisible current that moves through meridians in the body and in the world. Qi is the breath of life, the energy that harmonizes yin and yang, and heaven and earth. Like ether, it is both everywhere and elusive, felt more than seen. And then we also see echoes of ether in Western alchemy and Hermeticism. It's called Spiritus Mundi, or the spirit of the world. It's the animating essence that connects all things, the soul of nature, the medium through which transformation occurs. Alchemists believe it is the key to transmutation, healing, and divine insight. And I found that interesting because I've been looking a lot into like Hermeticism, because a lot of the Hermetic works, they kind of allude to our ability as humans to transcend into divine creatures.
Right.
And that requires us as humans to be open to things like magic, astrology, divination. There's like pillars of it. I'll cover it more like...
Well, it's interesting because you said it's something that someone feels but does not necessarily see. Mm-hmm. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
But that's what God is, right?
That is what God is.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm telling you, this shit goes crazy.
Man,
Wait until we start watching some of these clips, man.
You know, and in the past I've watched a lot of sci-fi stuff, so I am really surprised that this concept, I've never even heard like a whisper of its...
Right.
Unless it was featured on Supernatural and they pronounced it wrong.
Which is possible. Sam Hain. Oh, God. Now we're going to get into scientific ether and the Age of Light. We'll start in the 17th and 19th centuries.
Wow.
So during this time, scientific studies were more widely discussed and researched. Ether was thought of as a medium of space, filling substance for the propagation of electromagnetic and gravitational forces.
All right. My wheels are churning because, like, past lives, we know that when someone passes, they're in, like, a holding state, right?
Yep.
Could this be?
I bring that up later.
Okay.
I connect this to a lot of topics that we've discussed. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let's start in 1704. We're going to go back to Isaac Newton.
Okay.
So he wrote about ether in the third book of Optics. In this book, he describes the medium that passes through all matter and refracts rays of light by bending them gradually away from an object. This idea was then expanded on in the 19th century, and it was dubbed luminiferous ether. Again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I'm sure somebody will
Someone
let me know.
will tell you, for sure. Yeah.
So luminiferous ether means light-bearing ether. A man named James Clerk Maxwell, he developed a model to explain electric and magnetic phenomena using ether. This model later led to Maxwell's equations, which are attributed to deepening our understanding of light as an electromagnetic wave.
Wow.
If ether was the force through which light traveled, scientists expected that they would be able to detect an ether wind that would slightly alter the speed of light.
Huh.
So this is what brings us to the Michelson-Morley experiment and its failure to detect ether.
So what timeline is this?
We are now in April of 1887.
Okay.
So two scientists from Case Western University, Albert Michelson and Edward Morley, conducted the experiment in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
The study would come to be known as the Michelson-Morley experiment, and it is considered to be a breakthrough that led to Einstein's theory of relativity. Michelson had created a device called an interferometer. This device could split a beam of light into two separate paths, running perpendicular and then recombining them to create an interference. By rotating the device, they hoped to detect shifts in interference fringes that would be caused by the Earth's shift in the ether of the universe. And so this is where I got a little picture for us to look at.
Okay. Because I feel like, man, I did not pay attention in high school science enough or something.
I know, right? Okay, so this is the laser.
Right.
Right here is where they have the splitter.
Okay.
So then a light goes this way and the light goes this way. There's mirrors here, and you can see it's making it into kind of a square where the light meets again and then goes into the detectors. So their thought was right around this area they should have been able to see a wind, an ether wind.
Oh, okay.
And they were unable to detect it.
And what is that area referred to?
Beam splitter?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, so our listeners are probably going to post like a picture or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the results of this experiment showed there was no measurable difference in the speed of light upon the splitting of the beam. So they stamped it with a null result, and it really kind of left scientists in a really confused state. The results...
Shit.
Yeah, right. The results suggested that either the ether did not exist or the behavior of a light beam denied normal understanding of physics. So it was this experiment that ultimately ended the idea of ether in scientific study. This experiment has been done again and again in more modern times with more precision, and it has still been unable to detect an ether wind. So this forced physics to pivot and explore the idea that space and time themselves might be the true medium of light travel. So Michelson and Morley looked for an ether wind, expecting it to blow like air. But what if ether doesn't behave like air? That line of thought would suggest that the experiments didn't prove ether doesn't exist. Instead, it would mean it proved that if it does, it's strange and subtle and much harder to detect than anybody would imagine. And that's where relativity and quantum physics step in, reshaping the very idea of what fills the cosmos. We're going to move to Einstein now. So he would be the next scientist to make waves in terms of ether. In 1905, he published On the Electrodynamics of Moving Bodies. This paper is where he introduces the idea of special relativity, which showed that the speed of light is constant and in all inertial frames. He notes that light in any form does not require a medium. In turn, the idea of ether in physics was officially eliminated. So it sounds to me like it was more abandoned. It was no longer needed to explain the things that they were researching, so they just tossed it to the side. I didn't really see anything that said that it was like proving that ether does not exist.
Huh. Okay.
So then, from 1908 to 1915, Einstein would go on to expand the relativity theory, and it then included gravity, which culminated into his official general theory of relativity. This is where space-time itself became more dynamic, curved by mass and energy. So in a sense, he replaced ether with the term space-time as the fabric of the universe. Then in 1920, he gave a lecture at the University of Leiden, and this lecture was titled Aether and the Theory of Relativity, which I never knew about.
No.
I knew about the theory of relativity. I knew that he was responsible for our understanding of gravity, and I knew that he was the main person who brought us understanding of the term space-time. I know that he did that one experiment where, like, if you put a marble on the thing, like a sheet that's pulled down from underneath, the marble goes like this. And I knew that he was using that to explain, like, the atmosphere in space.
Okay.
That's all.
Gosh, I don't even think I knew that much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know he's the one that has crazy hair.
He's got crazy hair.
Right? Yeah.
And he was way smarter than I am.
Right. Heck yeah.
Okay, so yeah, 1920, University of Leiden. During this lecture, Einstein argued that even though the classic understanding of ether as a medium was debunked, one could still speak to a type of ether existing, not as a substance with motion, but the properties of the university itself. So in other words, its curvature, the structure, and its ability to even transmit gravitational effects. Though Einstein was a big part of the downfall of ether, he was also the voice that reminded the world that it still existed. While not a medium of light, it could be found as the elements that make up the universe itself, something complex and unchanging. So once again, we are back to ether's original definition to some extent, as an unchanging and unseen force holding everything in place. Luminiferous ether was thought of as a wind in the void, but Einstein argued at the end that ether is actually the structure of the void itself.
Oh.
The term space-time is a synonym for ether. It doesn't replace it. They're the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get into the quantum side of things.
Oh boy, can't wait.
Can't wait. It's okay, I got clips for this one.
Okay, good.
Because I'm like, this is a lot.
It is a lot, for sure.
Okay, so modern physics has brought about some additional terms and concepts that require consideration in the discussion on ether. These three terms are often described as something called neo-ether. So the first one is the quantum vacuum. This is a term that emerged and was developed by scientists such as Albert Einstein, Otto Stern, Max Planck, and Werner Heisenberg. And all of this kind of came into development in the 1900s. The quantum vacuum is not empty space, but a dynamic field filled with constant fluctuations. It is where we can find zero-point energy. So zero-point energy is the second term. Mm-hmm. This concept emerged because even at absolute zero motion, particles and magnetic fields never truly rest. Instead, they jitter, always maintaining a small pulse of energy. These tiny fluctuations produce measurable effects such as the Casimir effect. And then the third concept is the idea of dark energy, because this is a mysterious energy that drives the accelerating expansion of the universe. The Y Files. Killer Patents and Secret Science Volume 1. Free Energy and Gravity Cover-Up. So it's about a 14-minute clip. Before I play the clip for you, I just want to say to you and to the listeners, in 1951, the U.S. government passed the Invention Secrecy Act. This act says that if a new invention is thought to be a danger to the American economy, it can be slapped with a secrecy order, taken by the government, and marked as classified. The inventor is then not allowed to talk about their creation with the public. They are not allowed to sell it to the public.
Of course.
They are only allowed to sell the product to the U.S. government. So I just want that to be said before we go into this clip. So for the listeners, if you're looking on YouTube, you're going to want to go to the timestamp 18 minutes and 30 seconds and listen to the next 15 minutes. So we're going to listen to from 18 minutes 30 seconds to 32 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, so now that you have watched the clip, what are your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. I think that so many people mysteriously died or were denied patents because of the fact that it ties back to UFOs.
Yeah, UFOs and energy creation. I mean, a device like the one that Floyd Sweet created would completely eliminate fossil fuel energy.
Right.
And that is like a huge economic force in the United States.
Well, and could you imagine, okay, seriously, people put solar panels on their house.
Mm-hmm.
If they had something like that in their house, they could heat their home. They could heat their hot water.
Yeah.
They could...
Yeah, so the last part of the clip, it said that the device could power anything from one small light bulb all the way up to a full city.
Right. So you could watch TV. You could power your washer and dryer on sustainable energy.
Yep. 0 point energy. Crazy.
Fucking... It just makes me wonder about so many things. Like, the government was denying them patents, and then after they would magically show up at their homes, and all of a sudden their stuff would go missing. And I wonder if it's because how much stake or claim do they have in coal mines? Because back in that time, coal mining was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Like, homes were heated by coal. Energy was, coal energy. So
yeah,
I wonder how many people are like, wait, we can't have this invention out there because then what's going to happen to all the coal mines we're invested in?
Absolutely. I mean, the idea to me that the government can just say, I know that you made this, but it's going to make us lose a hell of a lot of money, so we're going to just destroy it.
Yeah, we're going to take it from you.
We're going to completely take it,
right. Yeah.
So we went through, in this clip, it was like 3 or 4 different men who had created devices. They were not given patents. Most of them, their works were either destroyed or stolen. Mm-hmm. Many of them died for this.
And at least one of them, they had said, like, he had already had 30 patents approved before.
Yeah, with the government.
Right. So then they denied this one.
Yep. It's crazy, man.
This is more than just a spirit.
Oh, absolutely. I want to get into David Bowen's section here because I think that this explains a lot of the topics that we have discussed on this podcast. Okay, so David Bowen was a British quantum physicist, philosopher, and neuropsychologist. He was born in 1917 in America, and he died in 1992. He was most well known for developing the de Broglie Boehm theory, and I'm not sure if de Broglie is the proper pronunciation of that name.
Okay.
So he's known for that theory, and then the concept of the implicate order. And the implicate order is what I want to focus on today.
Okay.
Okay. So I have his ideas really dumbed down in a way that I could understand them here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. So think of reality like a big, soft, cosmic folded blanket. So when the blanket is laid out flat, this is the world as we see it. He called this explicate order. Separate objects, separate people, space, time, cause and effect all apply. Now, think of folding the blanket. And it's sitting here. This is the implicate order. Everything is tucked in together. It's connected. It's overlapping. Everything is touching everything else. Nothing is separate.
Mm-hmm.
So everything influences everything in the folded blanket. So what we see, the unfolded blanket, is the surface. Underneath the surface is a deeper hidden layer where everything is intertwined.
Okay.
A similar example would be the slime of a lava lamp. What you can see from the outside is the surface of the bubbles. The implicate order would be the gooey inside of the bubble.
Isn't it just oil and water?
So I think it is oil, but so think about the blobs. They can connect together. You can see the outline of the blob,
sure.
But you can't see the inside of the blob. So the inside would be the explicate order, the ether, the substance that holds that bubble together in the lava lamp.
Wow, okay.
David Bohm felt that the implicate order could be an explanation for the way that we see weird behavior in particles, like acting connected even when they're far apart. I recently saw an episode of the Y-Files where split electrons from light were reacting strangely. The second clip is about 8 minutes. This is from an episode called We Live in a Simulation. The timestamp that I would like you guys to go to is 14 minutes and 27 seconds in. We're going to talk about the double slit experiment. All right, so now we've watched the second clip where AJ kind of intertwines science and spiritual beliefs.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, you said it best when we were off recording. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I don't have words right now.
Right. I cannot wrap my head around this double split experiment.
No.
How is it that electrons and protons can tell when they are being observed?
Right.
That insinuates intelligence in something as basic as particle elements.
Which makes me wonder, I'm a skeptic, but whatever they were using to monitor the particles, maybe it had like a magnetic energy or something that threw it off.
Yeah.
Not in the sense like they were smart enough to know, but because it created a reaction for them to know.
Right.
That's what my thought was.
Yeah, and I mean...
But I'm sure those scientists, or at least hope those scientists,
would try multiple things.
Multiple things, yeah.
Well, and I was wondering about that too, because they started the experiment when they wanted to detect it. They were originally detecting before the particles passed through the slit.
Right.
And then that wasn't working. So then they changed up the experiment and made it so that no observation would occur until after the particles had gone through the split.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really say if that was a different kind of technology or the same kind of technology, but at that time, when you're looking at the particles, they appeared as waves, and the minute that they started doing the observation, they turned back to particles.
Right.
And that's where the idea of time travel comes into it. And that is something that just for me, like, there are so many strange phenomena that goes on in this world that to me it does make sense that particles would have a sort of intelligence. I mean, look at everything that has been created in this world.
Right.
I mean, even just our own human consciousness, like...
Right.
It's insane.
Well, and you, like, plants have an awareness.
Right.
You know, this is, like, tripping me out, man.
Yeah. So, for me, this brought about a lot of questions about, like, could this idea of an implicate order explain phenomena like hauntings, dreams, time travel, collective consciousness, past lives, demonic activity? I mean, all of these things are things that theoretically could be explained by ether.
Well, and in the first clip that we watched, I thought of when you watch a ghost hunter show, they have like the electromagnetic readers.
Yeah, EMF. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a huge connection to that ether.
Yeah.
Creating energy.
Yeah.
This is like wild.
And like for me, I've long since believed that haunted locations are not, I've never, maybe originally, but like I think most people have this idea that when something is haunted, it's because Bertha died here, so now Bertha is haunting here.
Right, yes.
But for me, like, I'm more of the opinion that a haunted location is like a tear in our reality, and I feel like it's created by violence, trauma, and high emotions of an area. Mm-hmm. So Gettysburg is a good example. How many people died in the Civil War in Gettysburg?
Sure.
One of the most haunted towns in America now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things can't necessarily be explained as this person died in this location and now they're haunting this house. It's more of a residual energy from all of the pain and tragedy that occurred on the land there.
Well, and you see that with every ghost hunting show when they're going to a haunted location. There's like some story of mass tragedy. Mm-hmm. You know, like asylums are always haunted because of the cruelty to the patients and their awful conditions, and you know. And then you have all these historical places where battles were, or prisons. Yeah, like it's all things where there was cruelty, or prisons, they're like murderers in there, and they get all like the dark energy involved with them, and they're dying there because they're living their life sentence out there. Like that makes sense. Is that is something that's triggering that? Yeah,
I feel like it's just another way that everything is connected. Like the things that you do in life have an effect forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I guess it is like a little bit more of like a reminder that like what you put out into the world matters. You know, like the energy you put out is the energy that is returned. Right. It's fucking crazy.
But in this case, the energy that is being put in is producing more.
But I don't really think it's more. I think it's just... I mean, if we think about the ether, like in this room right now, there's millions and millions of air particles. Mm-hmm. But the ether would be what's in between those particles. So it's there. It's just not able to be detected, you know?
So it's only able to be detected when there is a tragedy, or...
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's able to be detected, even with things like hauntings. Like,
right.
I don't think that there's any way that we as humans could go to a haunted location and say, oh, yep, we've detected ether here. You know what I mean? I think it's more just that it is.
This is such a wild concept. I want to understand it, but for me...
Oh, it's
My brain won't let me.
It is a complex
It is.
thing, and this isn't a topic where we're gonna come in here and prove or disprove something.
No.
This is purely for consideration.
Right.
And this is a brainchild that I created, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when I watched that Killer Patents episode, it just really like sparked something in me. And and it made me want to look deeper into it. And the other thing is, like, for me, when I do like meditation, spell work, grounding, even like the sound baths, I feel like I tap into what could be considered ether. So
you feel like when you're in a meditative state, like...
Yeah, okay, so remember I told you about that one meditation I did that made me really emotional? Mm-hmm. And what I envisioned in that meditation was energy coming into me from the earth, coming into me from the skies, and then me pushing it out through my body. And so I guess in my mind, that's how I visualize the ether. I think that it's kind of like an invisible glue that's just like hanging in the air, holding all of the particles in place.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And like after researching this, I do consider it to be kind of like a fifth element.
Sure.
Ether, spirit, akasha, whatever you want to call it, chi. I think it's there. I
agree.
I don't know that it's something that we'll ever be able to prove. But I feel, personally myself, like I draw upon it. And I feel like it's something that everybody has the capabilities of doing. I think it might even be something that everybody does and doesn't recognize.
That's the same with like mediumship.
Yeah.
They say everybody has that connection. It's just whether they are able to draw upon it or want to draw upon it.
Yeah.
This is very, very much linked to spirituality, for sure.
I think so too. And, you know, before I had watched this simulation episode of the Y-Files, I've heard about simulation theory.
Which I never have.
And I think there's a lot of merit to it. I have never equated simulation theory and, like, intelligence to spiritual divinity and God. I mean, he said it at the end there. Like, he's right. Like, why is it that people think it has to be one or the other?
Right.
Like, it's some kind of... If we are in a simulation, it's some kind of intelligence that has put us here. And is that not what God is? Or the idea of divine power?
It's the idea. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
I think this is something that I will always continue to, like, think about, you know, when we're doing stuff. But
yeah, this is absolutely fascinating.
So, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got for you on that. I just to kind of button everything up, I just wanted to say that maybe the ether was never actually disproven, just renamed, reframed, and rediscovered by different cultures. Maybe the ancients weren't wrong. They were just speaking in poetry about something that we're only now learning how to measure.
Right.
And if the universe truly has a hidden structure or a subtle current, then every haunting, every intuition, every moment of magic might simply be us brushing up against the deeper fabric of reality or divine power. So I want to leave this off by asking our listeners, what do you think? How would you visualize the ether in your own mind? And let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think, because I really want to hear from others on this. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I'm just...
I don't know what to think. Like, you have presented me with a lot of information today.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of information.
I mean, there's like an alien connection to it, a spirituality connection to it.
Right.
There's...
On the topic of aliens,
Gosh.
what if aliens are synonymous to fucking gods? What if the aliens are the divine power that has put us in this simulation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
is how you get alien cults.
It is. Dude, I swear, we're going to end up starting a cult. This is crazy. Yeah, let us know what you think, because my mind is just boggled right now.
Yeah. Yeah, look into some of this stuff. I know that I presented a lot of information here, but, I mean, like, you know, definitely check out the Y-Files. I mean, he talks about, like, Nikola Tesla on multiple different, like, episodes and stuff,
okay.
which I never really knew a lot about Nikola Tesla, but I forgot to mention this, but when I was looking into this idea of his over-unity device, I was getting some strange feedback about, like, it's not real kind of thing, right?
Oh, okay.
So I went and asked Copilot about it, and Copilot says, yeah, well, Nikola Tesla's over-unity device isn't real because it violates the laws of thermodynamics.
Okay.
Which it would.
Mm-hmm.
And that he never publicly spoke about something called an over-unity device. But if it was a secret patent, he wouldn't have.
Right.
For one thing.
Because he would have had to sign away that he wasn't going to talk about it and would have had to sell it to the government.
Right. So my thing was, the reason that I kept hearing is because that it was disproven or not credible was because the scientific definition of over-unity, it would output more energy than it takes in. So that would violate the law of thermodynamics. Tesla never claimed to have created anything that created more energy than it took in, but the popular or alternative definition of over-unity is what I have heard about the device, which is that what most people think it means. The device taps into energy that's already there in the environment. It's just not obvious enough to be measured, which would be the ether.
Crazy.
Yeah. So why they're saying that it's not real, it's debunked, not credible, is because of what people think that Tesla meant and then what science actually rejects. So what people think Tesla meant was that he was harnessing unseen ambient energy. What science rejects is creating energy from nothing. So to me, I think when I'm seeing all this, like, oh, that's not real, it's because science equates over-unity to creating energy from nothing, but the public equates it to harnessing ambient ether energy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I don't know what you mean, actually.
I just wanted to mention that because that was the one part in all this research where I was getting multiple sources saying over-unity project is fake, it was never real, this and that. It very well may not have been. But what I do know is that Nikola Tesla used the idea of ether to make things like harnessing energy from lightning strikes and a lot of his technology.
Right.
So.
But yeah, like anything that the government wants you to not know about, they try to debunk it and make it seem like it never existed.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we see that with every UFO crash that people can really legit say they were there, they saw things, they of a cover-up, and the government still will be like, no, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it never happened on our watch.
Yeah, well, the other thing, too, is I think because there's a lot of history of the U.S. government using psychics and mediums.
Well, we learned that from the Project Bluebird, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep, and so I think that maybe some of this stuff would, like, out them a little bit. I don't think they necessarily wanted the whole world to know that they're doing these things, tapping into these things, because they've been saying that they're fucking fake.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Once again, you have given me a topic to really think about.
Good. I'm glad. That was kind of my goal here, because I just wanted to get people thinking about it. Like, it's not something I think we'll ever know for sure, but it's definitely something worth consideration, especially when we're talking about hauntings and collective conscious and past lives, all of that.
Yeah. And we've talked about this many times, how so many things are intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it makes you wonder sometimes, like, I know we see Aleister Crowley as this, like, crazed, you know, like... Narcissist, drug addict, sex fiend. But maybe he knew a little something, too.
I mean, I don't doubt that he did. I think he was just a really terrible person.
Right.
You know?
Yes,
but
that's true.
I think that, I mean, we've talked to even, like, you know, he loses credibility because he does drugs, but at the same time, psychedelics, they tap you into something, man.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so it's
exactly.
Like, yes, it's kind of like he loses a little bit of credibility, but, like, overall, I know that is a way to tap into shit. So,
yeah.
You never fucking know, man.
Craziness.
Yeah. But, yeah. So,
right.
That's that on that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for another great episode.
You're welcome. I hope everybody enjoys it. If you guys have any questions about this, or you want to suggest like a next line of thought that maybe I hadn't considered, send us an email, hexhavenpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Original theme music for Hexhaven has been written, recorded, and produced by Matt Shaw.